It's 6 p.m. on a Sunday evening here in Korea. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Choy. Now, another round of short-range missiles were fired from North Korea's eastern coast on this Sunday. This is the second missile launched by the regime in just 3 days. And experts say the projectiles are aimed at demonstrating North Korea's military prowess ahead of Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Seoul. Our Hwang Sung-hee starts us off.
North Korea fired 2 short-range missiles off its eastern coast early Sunday morning, the second such launch in less than a week. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said the weapons fired were Scud missiles that flew about 500 kilometers from the vicinity of Wonsan into the East Sea. An official from the Joint Chiefs of Staff said North Korea did not give any prior warning of the launch for civilian flights or vessels. The South Korean military believes the missiles to be Scud-C or Scud-ER missiles. Scud missiles are liquid propellant ballistic missiles that have a range covering the entire Korean peninsula. North Korea has fired 11 short-range missiles this year, and Sunday's launch marks its 4th ballistic missile launch. In February, it fired 4 ballistic missiles believed to be Scud-B missiles. And in March, it launched 2 missiles presumed to be Scud-C or Scud-ER missiles into the East Sea. Experts say the latest launch is a military demonstration aimed at drawing the attention of the international community ahead of Chinese President Xi Jinping's upcoming visit to South Korea this Thursday. The South Korean military has heightened its vigilance and beefed up its military readiness against any additional provocations by Pyongyang. Hwang Sung-hee, ARIRANG News.
South Korea's defense minister nominee Han Min-gu expressed his determination to counter growing threats from North Korea. On Sunday, he vowed to install the country's indigenous missile defense system as soon as possible. At his confirmation hearing, Han said the defense ministry will push for early establishment of the Korea Air and Missile Defense System, or KAMD, and the so-called kill chain, a preemptive missile destruction system. The KAMD is aimed at countering low-flying missiles coming from the north, and the kill chain will detect and strike the regime's missile and nuclear facilities. Han said he will make it clear to Pyongyang that it will never get any concessions through military provocations and threats. Now, there's a number of changes afoot for Korea in the second half of the year. These cover everything from the basic pension system to social welfare and health care. Our Shin Se-min briefs us on just a few of the coming changes.
The government on Sunday issued a list of changes to 160 regulations and systems in 27 government departments. The list will be posted and distributed on central, local, and municipal government websites starting Monday, and the changes will take effect in the second half of the year. The changes cover pensions for the elderly, more leave for working moms, and harsher punishments for child abusers. One of the changes is related to data collection and follows a series of major security breaches in recent months. The new rule bans public institutions and private enterprises from illegally collecting citizens' identification numbers. Institutions with security breaches will be fined up to $500,000 even if the data was collected legally. Another change has to do with the pension system. Elderly people over the age of 65 who are in the lower 70% income bracket will be granted a maximum basic pension of nearly $200 a month starting in August. In the legal sector, starting in late September, child abusers will face stronger punishments. A child abuse victim will be isolated from his or her assailant, and for the first time, child abuse victims will be provided with legal counsel, previously only allowed for adult victims of sexual violence. Working women juggling home and work life who are the mothers of twins will be granted 30 extra days of maternity leave, giving them a 4-month break. And in the agriculture sector, area of origin labeling for pork will be enforced to ensure safe distribution and improve epidemics prevention efforts. Shin Se-min, ARIRANG News.
Korea's rival parties are gearing up for a by-election on July 30th, which will be crucial after a round of local elections in June produced no clear loser or winner. The ruling Vicinity Party and the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy will nominate candidates for 15 parliamentary seats up for grabs, and both parties are planning to run political heavyweights for races in the capital Seoul and Gyeonggi-do province. But neither party has revealed the names of their candidates, possibly indicating that they're planning to wait to do so until just before the candidate registration deadline. Korea will be the first Asian nation to be visited by Pope Francis during his visit from August 14th to the 18th. The pontiff will attend a Catholic youth festival and preside over a ceremony to beatify 124 Korean Catholic martyrs. But he could do something even more significant. Dennis P. Halpin, a visiting scholar at the U.S.-Korea Institute at Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, says the Pope could use his visit to stand in solidarity with Korea's surviving so-called comfort women by arranging a meeting with them. The Pope will be here on August 15th, a holy day of obligation for the Roman Catholic Church, the feast of the Assumption of Mary into heaven, and a date of symbolic ascendancy for all women. It is also Korea's Independence Day, when the Korean women forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese military were freed. Speaking of Japan, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe continues to seek a way to allow Japan to exercise the right to collective self-defense. But the recent poll shows the majority of Japanese citizens fear such a change could bring more harm than good. The Mainichi Shimbun reported on Sunday that more than half of those surveyed opposed the plan, which allows Japan to deploy troops abroad if an ally is in some way under threat. The Japanese Daily surveyed 1,035 locals on Saturday and Sunday, and the results show 54% of respondents opposed the move, with only 39% in favor. 71% of those who oppose the idea are mostly concerned about the possibility of Japan's involvement in a war. At least 139 local councils across the country have passed written arguments critical of the move, with one council saying that altering the interpretation of the Constitution based simply upon the opinion of the cabinet is an outrage that destroys the foundation of modern constitutionalism. The cabinet could vote on the measure as early as Tuesday. Sales of imported cosmetics are falling, while those of affordable domestic brands are going the other direction, but not because of the economic downturn. Our Son Jang-in explains the other factors that come into play.
Korean cosmetic brands have long been a favorite in overseas markets, but for some time, Koreans were far more interested in buying imported luxury brands. But the tide appears to be turning. Sales of imported cosmetics increased steadily from early 2000 until their peak in 2009 at 26% of the market share. However, in the time since, the figure has been on the decline, dropping to 23% last year. Domestic brands have been filling the gap, with the market share rising from 47% in 2008 to 57% last year. Market analysts attribute this turn events to several factors, one being the rise in dermatology clinics. Competition in the saturated market has prompted clinics to cut the cost of treatment procedures by as much as 2/3. That means more people from all walks of life are visiting on a regular basis for their skincare needs, which is making them less reliant on cosmetics. And as such, customers have become smarter and choosier about which products they use on their faces. That's caused them to lean more on high-quality, low-price products they can trust, namely Korean-made cosmetics. Popular brand stores like Innisfree, The Face Shop, and Misha have doubled their sales in recent years. Considering the increased number of people visiting dermatology clinics and the high quality that domestic skin brands provide, the latest trend is not expected to turn around anytime soon. Son Jang-in, ARIRANG News.
Two buildings collapsed in India Saturday morning, killing at least 15. First, a rundown 50-year-old four-story building in New Delhi toppled over, killing 8 and injuring 2. Officials suspect construction work at an adjoining building could be to blame. In the second tragic incident, an 11-story structure under construction collapsed in Chennai in Tamil Nadu state, killing at least 1 person. 50 workers were believed to have been at the site, and rescue operations are still ongoing. Building collapses in India are becoming a common occurrence as people add floors without permits, creating hazardous conditions. Corruption in the construction sector is also a major contributing factor, leading to a lack of oversight and use of poor quality building materials. Moving on to some sporting action, Chile held its own against host team Brazil, the favorite to win it all in World Cup action on Saturday. The home team scored first with great passing and setups, the credit going to David Luiz in the 18th minute. But Chile's Alexis Sanchez answered right back with the equalizer in the 32nd. In the end, it was Neymar who scored the goal that really mattered in the penalty shootout, proving you can't believe all the hype surrounding that man. Colombia destroyed Uruguay 2-0 in their Sweet 16 matchup. Colombia's James Rodriguez took charge of the race for the Golden Boot by scoring 2 goals, giving him 5 goals in all for this tournament so far. If only Uruguay's biggest offensive threat, Luis Suarez, hadn't earned himself an early exit from the game by taking a bite out of another player during another match against Italy. Soccer fans are in for a treat as Colombia's next opponent is the most feared team in this tournament, Brazil. But if the Samba squad's biggest weapon, Neymar, is sidelined by a recently sustained thigh injury or he loses his explosiveness, the odds will be in Colombia's favor. And now the weather. This Sunday proved to be quite a scorcher for most people in Korea, but it looks like the sunny conditions are likely to continue through the middle of the week. And now let's take a look at weather conditions elsewhere around the globe. And these are the stories we have for you at this particular hour, but we'll have more at 10 p.m. Korea time. Do join us then. Thank you for watching.